Okay, this is my last cannibal video, I promise. Well, for right now. Human cannibalism is the consumption of human organs and flesh. And believe it or not, there are many twisted souls who get off on that sort of thing. Ready to meet the world's most monstrous man-eaters ever to walk the face of the earth. Brace yourself and don't say I didn't warn you, it's pretty horrific. Meet the world's most heinous cannibals. David Vian. David Vian was a Los Angeles chef who killed his wife and cooked her for 4 days, according to People. Omaima Nelson. Omaima Nelson was a woman who killed her abusive husband on Thanksgiving Day. She served him up with leftovers from Thanksgiving dinner. Joachim Georg Kroll. This German serial killer and cannibal would dismember his victims and save pieces of the body to eat later. He'd often have sex with the dead bodies of his victims, then return home and have sex again with a blow-up doll. Peter Bryan. Police found this London man's frying pan with tissues of a man's brain on the stove. I ate his brains with butter. It was really nice. He told authorities, according to The Guardian. Matthew William. Matthew William was found inside a hotel room eating the face of a woman in the United Kingdom. Tsutomu Miyazaki. This blood-loving monster known as the Little Girl Murderer would abduct young girls between the ages of 4 and 7, sexually assault their corpses, and drink their blood. He even ate a hand, according to a Japanese newspaper. Stockholm Cannibal. A Swedish professor was charged with cutting off his wife's lower lip and eating it after becoming suspicious that his spouse was cheating on him. Moscow man-eaters? In Moscow, 3 homeless men were arrested on suspicion of having killed a man, eating parts of his corpse, and then selling the rest to a kebab vendor. Joseph Oberhansley. Another brain-eater was this killer who consumed parts of his girlfriend's brain, heart, and lungs. Alexander Kinua. Alexander Kinua was charged with murder after killing his roommate and cannibalizing him at Morgan State University. He devoured parts of his victim's heart and brain, as reports The Guardian. Austin Haroof. A 19-year-old Florida State University student was found inside a garage chewing on the face of a man after having killed him and his wife. Matej Kirko. This Slovakian man was found with the bodies of 2 missing women in his home. He would lure victims online by soliciting people who wanted to be killed and eaten. Issei Sagawa. Talk about the worst study date ever. Issei Sagawa shot a Dutch student in his apartment after inviting her over for a school assignment. He then ate parts of her body over the next 2 days until he was eventually caught by the authorities. Armin Meiwes. This German killer and cannibal is currently serving a life term in prison after killing a willing victim he found online. He cut off his victim's genitalia and tried to eat it. He also stored and ate pieces of the corpse over a period of 10 months. Yu Young-chul. Yu Young-chul was a South Korean serial killer targeting rich people and women. He admitted to eating his victims' organs. Vincent Vaiguang Lee. On a Greyhound Canada bus trip from Edmonton to Winnipeg, Vincent Vaiguang Lee attacked a sleeping man seated next to him. Passengers were taken off the bus, watching as he consumed parts of his victim's body. Parts of the victim's heart and his eyes were never found, and it is believed they were eaten by Vincent Vaiguang Lee, according to the Toronto Star. Rudy Eugene. In 2012, Rudy Eugene left, viciously attacked homeless man Ronald Popo, Wright, in Miami, Florida. He was gnawing at his face when police approached, telling him to back off. Eugene ignored authorities and even growled at them, with a piece of flesh in his mouth. He was eventually shot to death and Popo lost about 80% of his face. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was a cannibal and serial killer who murdered 17 males from the late 1970s to early 1990s. He was eventually attacked in prison by an inmate and died from his injuries. Stephen Griffiths. Known as the crossbow cannibal for his weapon of choice, Stephen Griffiths admitted to eating the bodies of 3 sex workers, according to The Independent. Albert Fish. This American serial killer ate a 10-year-old girl in 1928 by the name of Grace Budd, cooking her buttocks in the oven. The cannibal even sent an anonymous letter to Budd's mother detailing the horrific murder. Elizabeth Bottery. This Hungarian countess is infamous for killing countless young women during the 16th and 17th centuries and bathing in their virgin blood, believing it would help retain her youth and beauty. Alfred Packer. Packer was a convicted cannibal who came back from a Colorado Rockies trip alone. The fellow 5 members of his mining party were found murdered and with signs of being cannibalized. Andrei Chikatilo. This Soviet cannibal would eat the blood of his victims and tear off their genitalia, tongues and lips with his teeth. Klara Maurova. Worst mother in existence goes to this woman from Czech Republic who tortured her 2 sons and forced them to eat pieces of their own raw flesh after being skinned. What a horror! Zhang Yongming. This Chinese man-eater killed 11 males. Police found human eyeballs preserved inside bottles at his home. Yongming even sold parts of his victims' corpses to local markets, calling it ostrich meat. Alexander Spesivtsev. Alexander Spesivtsev was known as the Novokuznetska Monster and the Siberian Ripper. His mother assisted him with his cannibalistic murders, helping to lure in his victims. Big Lurch. Just Say No, Kids. American rapper, aka Antron Singleton, is serving life in jail for murdering his roommate after a 5-day binge on the drug PCP, according to the Los Angeles Times. He had cut open his roommate, ripped out her lung, and eaten it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All this talking about eating has made me hungry.
For more of these fascinating stories and true crimes, subscribe to Charles Arnis World. Thanks for watching.
Learned the 16-year-old victim had photographs located on his cell phone with implied nudity from his teacher that he was having sexual relations with. The cell phone was reportedly confiscated, and authorities completed a phone extraction for evidence. The next month, on July 1st, the male victim was interviewed, and he told authorities.
For more of these fascinating stories and true crimes, subscribe to Charles Arnis World. Thanks for watching.